Hi everyone, welcome to another video with iLearn Engineering. My name is Leslie. Today we're going to talk about cache memory and we're going to find out what cache memory is. It's maybe something that you've heard of before and maybe it's completely new. So let's dive in. So hopefully at this point you'll be aware that computers have a type of memory called RAM or random access memory that it uses to process things. So that'll be what the CPU uses to run different programs and do all the things that we want computers to do. And we also have what we call, so the RAM is primary memory, and then we also have what we call secondary memory. So that's storage, that's our hard drive. That's what we would keep all our files on and our photos and do all our work on and install our programs and things like that. So cache memory is not either of those two memories. It kind of sits in between, if you like, but it's still very important. And there are three levels. So if you think about RAM that's used for the CPU to do everything that it needs to do, so all the instructions that it needs to process, all the data that it needs to work on, everything like that. So in relation to cache memory, it can be quite slow. And with RAM, it might have to go and get instructions from maybe the hard drive or somewhere else, bring it into the CPU, do something with it, process it, and all that kind of stuff. So it can be quite slow to do that. And that's why we have cache memory. They are very small, very fast temporary storage areas that are located near or on the CPU, depending on the level of cache. And they give us a place to store those instructions that the CPU will need to use again and again and again. Or it might store instructions, it might store data, that the CPU needs to manipulate over and over again or use in another instruction. So it's the things that are going to be used quite a lot by that program. They'll be stored in cache, and it's very efficient, very easy to store data in and to get instructions to and from, and it's almost instant data retrieval. That's how fast it is. So it makes everything a lot more efficient when we're running our different programs. It can be between 10 and 100 times faster than RAM, depending on which level we're talking about. So it's quite a difference. It can be more expensive. Well, not can be, it is. It's more expensive. So that's why we only use small parts of it and we don't have our whole, CPU using all the instructions using cache memory because it's expensive. And as I mentioned, there's different levels. So we have three levels of cache memory. We have L1, L2, and L3. So L1 cache is also known as primary cache, and it's extremely fast and extremely small. So it's going to be closer to the 100 times faster than RAM. It's normally embedded in the CPU itself as CPU cache. And because it's smaller, what we're doing here is we're sacrificing storage space for speed. So it's the fastest one. It's what we're going to use for all the things that we need that are really, really quickly, needed, but we don't store as much. Then we have L2 cache or secondary cache, as it's also known. So it will normally hold more than L1 cache. It can also be embedded in the CPU or it can be on another chip that is connected by a fast-paced bus. It's still fast because it's still relatively close to the CPU. And here we're coming up with a little bit more storage, so it's a little bit slower. We're sacrificing a little bit of speed for storage here, but it's still very quick. And then the final level is our L3 cache. And it's specialized memory, so it's designed to improve the performance of L1 and L2 cache. So it's slower than them, but it holds a lot more. So a lot of the things, instead of us having to store them in L1 and L2 and potentially slow them down, we store them in L3. So L1 and L2 can still be very, very quick and they have a lot more performance, where L3 will hold a lot more. It's still a lot faster than RAM memory. It's 10 or so times faster than RAM. So it's still very fast, but because we have a lot more storage there than the others, we're sacrificing that speed for storage. So that's cache memory. That's what it's used for, and that's the 3 levels. Hopefully you learned something from that video. We're going to have another video that will look at the fetch, decode, execute cycle and how all the different components in the CPU kind of interact and talk to each other. And cache memory will be involved in that as well. So you'll get to see a bit more about cache memory there if you're interested. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon in another video. Thanks. Bye.